Hi guys, welcome to your first recorded lesson then. This is your introduction to logic. This is going to be a really cool topic actually. You can have quite a lot of fun with it. So today we're going to look at simple and compound statements and we're going to look at the structure of them. We're going to see how they differ from each other and look at some of the connectives that you use in compound statements. So at the moment, it's not going to be particularly mathsy. It's quite applicable to real life and can be quite useful actually. The first thing I want you to do is write 3 simple, short statements about yourself. They should just be single sentences. The important thing is that 2 of them need to be false and 1 of them needs to be true. But I don't want you to make it clear which one is which, so mix them up. We're then going to read them out to each other in a second and we're going to try and work out which one is the true sentence for each person. So it needs to be something that you can read out and not make it really obvious which one's the true one and which ones are the false ones. So try and trick people a little bit here. Pause the video, write your statements, and then we're going to share them. Okay, so after all that statement sharing, let's have a look at what a simple statement is. Hopefully a simple statement is something similar to what you've just written. They're basically things that we can say have a truth value. So they can either be true or they're false. So for example, my eyes are brown. That would be a simple statement. I can prove it right, so I can give it a truth value. There are no males in our school. Well, I know that's not correct, it's false, but it can have that truth value of false. So it is a simple statement. Same with Homer Simpson is the president of the USA, and it is 5 o'clock right now. Obviously, it is 5 o'clock right now will change depending on what time it is, but it can have a truth value, either true or false. So these are simple statements. So I just want you to have a quick go because this can be trickier than you think it is. Have a look at exercise 9A on page 383. Pause the video and give it a go now. Okay, so you should have finished exercise 9A by now. Just check your answers. So the following numbers are the ones corresponding to statements. So number 1, number 4, number 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 and 14. If there's any of them that you didn't get right, have a look at them again now and ask me if you're not sure about why they are or aren't statements. Compound statements are made by joining simple statements together, and we use things called connectives. So we use things like not, and, or, if, then, okay? Now something to be a little bit careful of, we can use or in 2 ways. It can be exclusive or inclusive. In exclusive, you can only have one of the options. So for example, you can have a big cup or a small cup for your tea. You can't have both, you have to pick one. For an inclusive or, you can have either or you can have both. So for example, you can have milk or sugar in tea. You might just have milk, you might just have sugar, but you can have both. So it's an inclusive or. You could have either of them, or you could have both. So this is something we're going to need a little bit of practice with. So again, if you could just go to exercise 9B on page 384 and see whether you can work out whether or not they're using an exclusive or an inclusive or. Okay, again, you should have finished exercise 9B now, so just check your answers. Numbers 3, 4, 5 and 7 were the only inclusive ors, the only ones where you could have either or both. All the rest of them were exclusive ors. Okay, you could not have both. Again, pause the video and ask me if there's an issue. Okay, if you're using or in a statement, you have to make it really, really clear whether or not it's inclusive or exclusive, because otherwise the reader might not know. And that could lead to people being quite confused. If you ask them, or tell them you can have a big cup or a small cup for your tea, and they assume that you're being inclusive and allowing you to have both, it might cause a bit of an issue. So any statement that you make with or in it is going to immediately be assumed to be inclusive. If you want to make it exclusive, you need to add at the end of the statement, but not both. So for example, with the tea statement, you can have a big cup or a small cup for your tea, but not both. Okay, and that makes it exclusive. Or, see what I did there? You can use these symbols to represent different connectives. So we will be using these, in particular the not one, we'll be using these as we move through the logic course. So look, you can see the difference. The inclusive or has the little downwards arrow. The exclusive or has a downwards arrow with a flat line, almost like a stop. So telling people that you can't have both. Okay, so you're going to need to learn these, and then for your homework this week, I'd like you to write 5 simple statements, ones which we haven't seen today. Okay, remember they can be true or false, but they need to be simple. And then I'd like you to write 5 compound statements, each one using a different one of these connectives. Afterwards, if you could put in brackets the symbols that you would use instead of the connective. And that homework is due in next week.